Welcome to Pocket Fiction by Steve Cook. Heaven. It was a cold day in hell, and Uriel could feel it. As he clutched his arms to himself and shivered, feathers drifted down from his wings to land on the road, disturbing the light covering of snow. Off in the distance, under the heaviest clouds, a huge city rose up from the landscape. Lights shone all over it, lasers picking out symbols in the air, and when Uriel squinted he could see things flying around the buildings on huge wings. He crouched down to try and preserve some of his warmth, and wondered why the hell, no pun intended, he had decided to come dressed in the flimsy standard-issue long white gown. A thin dribble of snot worked its way down his pointy nose, then flew away into the wind as he huffed out a sigh. Taloned feet crunched on the snow to his left, and Uriel looked up, all thoughts of the cold forgotten. A squat demon was picking its way carefully between potholes in the road. It stopped in front of him and coughed, politely covering its mouth with one fin.
"Good evening,"
it said. Its voice was rough, the mouthful of needle-like teeth clacking as it spoke.
Hello,"
Uriel said. He fanned his wings out wide, trying to make himself seem bigger, but the demon just stood there.
"First time?"
it said. Uriel frowned. There was a second time?
Yes. First time. I came from, the other place."
"Ah, thought you were. You've got that metallic skin thing going on."
The creature stuck out one of its arms, and Uriel gently shook the chitinous appendage. The grip was firm.
"I'm Syzyges, by the way,"
it said. Uriel. They stood for a moment, Uriel now realizing he could no longer feel his bare feet, and wondering at what point frostbite would start to set in. Shoes. Finally he could see what humans saw in them. Feeling slightly foolish, he pulled his wings back in and cleared his throat.
So, hell. I thought it would be, warmer.
Syzyges nodded slowly.
"Ah, well, you're not the first to point that out. I mean, a lot of our early advertising explicitly made a point of it. Great holiday destination, that's why I came anyway. But then there was a change in policy after we did some market research."
The demon began to walk down the road in the direction of the city, and Uriel turned to follow him.
"People, humans, I mean, often say they'll do things when hell freezes over. In the end, the boss figured it was much easier to force their hand this way. Not that it's had much impact, besides really doing something for the fake fur trade."
Uriel raised a perfectly shaped eyebrow.
"I'd have thought, it being hell, you'd use real fur."
"Good grief, no! We're damned, not monsters."
They walked in silence for a while, and Uriel felt his face begin to burn despite the cold. He fiddled with the hem of his robe as he tried to think of the right words of apology.
"So, what's heaven like?"
asked Syzyges. The angel's head filled with golden images of heat, eternal peace, as much food as he could eat, and the hours spent playing chess in the evening with the female angels. He began, then paused and let a slow smile play over his lips.
"It's terrible."
"Really?"
"Yeah. Have you ever read any of our marketing spiel? It's bang on the money. Heaven's hot. I mean, we're talking about the heat of 1,000 suns here. See this golden skin? That's the only way we don't burn to a crisp. Reflective, see?"
Syzyges nodded his head as Uriel carried on.
"There's no sex. Original sin or something like that. The message is kind of unclear from him upstairs. That's another problem. Leadership's been a bit quiet over the last couple of millennia. It was all quite hands-on before that, but now it's more self-guided."
Uriel began to grin as he poured out years of pent-in feeling, a weight lifting from his shoulders.
"All you can eat means that we're all constantly on diets. There's a branch of Weight Watchers in heaven, And it's just boring. No conflict. Everyone knows everyone's motives. You can't lie. The worst people to play poker with."
"I had no idea."
Syzyges shook his head and clacked his beak in distaste.
Hell's, well, it's not like that, for sure. And you're kind of seeing the worst bits first. Out here in the wastes, it's pretty desolate. Doesn't get the love it deserves, you know. Take this road, for example.
Uriel looked down as they walked on. The road was paved, slabs of stone of all different sizes slotted together like geometric crazy paving. Large sections of it were broken, gaps between the stones revealing black soil which the snow didn't seem to lay on.
This road used to be perfect, stretched from here to Eden, way out west. The boss, he wanted it to be a landmark. We kept it patched up pretty good in the old days, but then people stopped having such good intentions, and that was that. Our building material was gone. Now it's ruined.
Syzygius shrugged his shoulders sadly, and a little pair of technicolor wings flapped out. Uriel stopped dead, staring at them in admiration. The feeble light glinted off metallic feathers, some with little bits of circuitry worked into them. Most were simply dyed in a rainbow so horrible that it somehow worked. Syzygius looked back and saw he'd stopped.
What?
Those are amazing. You've had them coloured. Oh, if I had the guts. Oh, but Dad would be so disappointed. The demon laughed and shook his head.
He ain't here. When I came down here, they fitted me with ones just like yours. Standard issue, right? But you gotta learn to live a little, you know?
He clapped Uriel on the shoulder and began to lead him away.
I know this place. They'll do any pattern, any colour, and it's all completely reversible. Friend of mine runs it. Big, bull-like guy. Bright red.
Uriel narrowed his eyes. What's the cost?
First one's free, and after that it's all on job sharing. Might be floors that need sweeping, or the carpool might need the leaves taken out of it, but you'll get something pretty quick, no sweat.
Uriel grinned. Arm in arm with the demon, the fallen angel took his first steps into hell. He was going to like it here.